Hello friends, this is Coldrun, back with Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. We are here in Old Charlian in the classroom with the gang. We're about to continue with the main story quest. So last time we had that big old dinner, nice, relaxing, peaceful dinner party. Lyse. Some of my earliest memories are of Scholark Montaigne. Actually, he was a close friend of our grandfather. He would come for tea and amaze us with his tricks, much like his demonstration with the paper and ink. He's a huge part of why I wanted to enter the studium in the first place. Yeah, he seems like a great influence. He seems like a legitimately good dude. Oh, you're a player. You're Kronov Forerunner. Alphino. While Scholark Montaigne is best known for his role as head of the studium, he is said to be one of the finest mages Charlian has ever produced. Having seen for myself the ease with which he weaves extraordinarily complex and powerful magics, I have no reason to doubt the claim. Alright, Kryl. So this is a capital idea. Kryl is still digesting a rather hefty portion of food for thought. And this was, right, this wasn't just after the dinner. This was after the, that's farther back. This was after the Scholar gave us that presentation on the different types of ether. The soul ether, the memory ether, and the tangible ether. Kryl. Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the form's true motives, and the mysteries of life itself, for good measure. Yeah, one lecture, and we're closer to the mysteries of life. It's quite a lecture. It's funny. I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in days to come. I agree. I don't think he's a one-off character. I think we're going to see him a bunch. And on that note, let's head to the Annex. Perhaps on the way, you could better acquaint yourself with Kialiapo, as the Scholar suggested, while I share our findings with Raha. Kialiapo I know as the person who has the quest that I can't access yet because it's a, what do you call it? Faculty. Yeah, it's a Disciples of the Land or Hand quest. This is, I know I've been doing a lot of the side things in this game as I go, but I have a really bad sense of how to do the jobs of the Land in Hand. It almost feels like I have to put my mind into an entirely different gear, like I'm playing an entirely different game. All of those jobs for me are level 100 at this, or level 100, or level 80 at this point, so they were all maxed out, but I still don't want to get started. That's something, probably the only thing I'm going to do only after I've completed all the main story quest stuff. That's probably going to be like one of the last things I do in Endwalker. I might do it like after the main, at least after the main story quest is completed. Kryl. It seems I've done an adequate job of relaying Scholar Montaigne's lecture to Raha. Given his experiences in the field of souls and memories, he had no trouble understanding it. Yeah, no shit. He's like the expert on souls and memories and all that sort of shenanigans. Lyse. You'd better not let your guard down around Key. One small favor becomes another, then another, and before you know it, you'll be running to the other side of the world in search of a bottle of wine or some other rubbish. Yeah, I've imagined that's what awaits me in the Disciples of the Land and Hand job quests. Then again, it might make for a welcome change of pace from your usual heroics, and as the Scholar said, it could also lead to interesting discoveries. You're going to really get me to... Nope. I'm going to do this after the main story quest. Unless you all if you're watching this, if you strongly recommend doing like the Land and Hand jobs before the main story quests, I'll do that then. But I'm still going to lean towards doing those after I've completed main story stuff. And job stuff, even. Grahatia. Aha, welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the studium proved most educational. It did. While you were away, I received word from our fellow scions. As expected, news of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsa Lominsa. Lyse. So the time has come for us to go on the offensive. Oh, she's excited. She's pumped at that. Graha. Oh, I don't think that the time has come yet, but I think she's excited for when that time does come. Graha. It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Vilbrand? Kryl. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinian? Absolutely. Go for it, Estinian. You got this. I have faith in you. All still in that neat packaging. Kryl. Whew, I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. Yeah, they're twice the size you are. Kryl. I shouldn't complain, though. Vritra and the alchemists of the Great Work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. It really... I keep thinking about the bloody scars left on Vritra. What a dragon, what a leader. Alize, are you not coming with us? Oh, yeah, I didn't even pick up on that. Kryl, as much as I would like to escape the Forum's watchful gaze, I've little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. I didn't even think of that. That's very wise of you, Kryl. That's a good thought. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies. Alphino. With luck, we'll soon have good news of our own to share. The tide is about to turn. I can feel it. To Limsolo Minsa. Yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. Xanthale, Storm Sergeant. Ah, I was told to expect you. As you may or may not be aware, the Admiral is at present entertaining the Elder Seedseer and the Sultana. 3 of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Do you need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you to them? No. I'm ready. I'm always ready to see the Sultana. And Merlvib is great, as Merlvib is the literal best, and the Elder Seedseer is okay. I mean, I'm sure she's fantastic, but, you know, it's hard. When you're competing against the Sultana and Merlvib in terms of character, strength of character, and just general color of personality, it's hard to compete with them. Merlvib, my apologies for calling you away from Sharlayan at such short notice. Alphino, on the contrary, we are honored and grateful, and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. Kane Senna, 'twas only right that this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it is only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. That's a great point. I assume that they can keep kind of recharging their lunar primals and just keep throwing them at people, and while we have limited bodies, so we do have to we don't have time on our side. Alphino, it is reassuring to learn we are all in accord. But might I ask what your plan entails? Nod, nod, nod. Nanamo. It hinges entirely on the warding scales and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. Merlvib. During your time in Sharlayan, the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge in abductions of kobolds, Sahagan, Ixal, and Ananta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well. I wonder, if they did this, if they created a tower and kidnapped, let's say they kidnapped the Thaumaturges Guild and all the Thaumaturges of Ul'dah, would they get, I don't remember who the god of the dead that they worship is, which of the 12, but could one of the 12 be summoned as a primal? I almost think not. I know that that's how primals aren't really respective of that, but the best attempt I could think of the closest I could think of was at the end of Stormblood, when everyone tried to summon, when Ilberd's plan was to summon, was let's have everyone pray for Ralgar's rage to come down, but Ralgar didn't come down. It was just some strong primal. I still don't quite understand why that was. Why it wasn't Ralgar himself that came down. That was created by the prayer in Ralgar. Yeah, I don't know. Merlvib, to make matters worse, yeah, so we did that, okay. But your triumph in Radzatan has given us cause to hope once more. Nanimo, The time has come to free ourselves of this menace, and it is you, the scions of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. Kane Senna. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Talophoroi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart, Garlemald. Hell yes, here we go. These brave few will be the Ilsabard Contingent. That's us? Or I don't remember what Ilsabard is in this game. Like, I thought that was the land that had that was like with not Ravnica, that's a magic thing. With I'm trying to say less, but I also have moments where I just don't know the answer, and so I don't know what to say during those times. The place that is from Final Fantasy Tactics, not Rabanastre. Is Rabanastre part of Ilsabard? Alphino, to think such progress has been made in so short a span of time. Merlvib, its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. That's right. Good. I'm glad they're putting that first. Nanamo, as previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Talophoroi's every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. Yes. Well said. I do not ask that we set aside decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I ask only that in choosing to remember we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. And it's also, even in purely selfish terms, like, you want to help those people. Like, it reduces the threat to us both in the short and long term. But there's also an element of treating them the way that you treated Yulmore once Vothri left, once Vothri flew away on his little wings, where you acknowledge that once you're tempered, it's out of your control, but before that, you still had some role. But even then, a lot of these people were probably victims of just a giant state power. It's not quite the same as Yulmore. Merlvib. Aye, on that we can all agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Urianger observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there's reason to believe that the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. So I didn't get a sense of the scale of the different spires, but maybe, from what she's saying, yeah, the Garlemald spire is like the one, whereas what we saw was just a small version. Until the Tower of Zot was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway. Though the same could be said of the Talophoroi, they're certainly in no rush to press further into our lands. Yeah, I don't think conquest is their thing. I think they're just, because we know they're just drawing ether. So they're waiting. I think their mission could be accomplished by just waiting. I'd wager the Spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied while they work toward our annihilation. I don't think that. Kane Senna. This would appear to be substantiated by Ishtola's analysis of the tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on her observations, inside the Tower of Zot, the spires siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. Merlvib. It wouldn't surprise me in the least that if it was being redirected to the larger spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. That I agree with. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we'll bring their schemes crashing down along with their infernal towers. Hell yes. Estinian, that's all well and good. But what would you have us do, assuming it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way? Yeah, they're not going to send the Avengers to be on our way. Merlvib, we want you and your scales to join the Ilsabard Contingent. Consider it an official request from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Everyone looks to me. It's a clear yes. Alize, perhaps you should be the one to answer that. For honor and glory for the people of Garlemald, for revenge against the Talophoroi. For the people of Garlemald. If we have to do only one, if we could only help one thing, we didn't have honor and glory, or if we didn't have the other two things, we would want to keep the people of Garlemald as the top priority and lose revenge and lose honor and glory. Merlvid, couldn't have put it better myself. Kane Senna. Ishtola, Thancred, and Urianger have already pledged their support and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingent. They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Nanimo. Once you've delivered the warding scales to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilsabard. Rauban and Lord Aymeric are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourselves known upon arrival. Merlvid. Pack warm clothing, furs and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Tolafroi so much as draw steel. I friggin' love snow zones. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go. Safe in the knowledge Eorzea will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. I'm expecting the Garlemald to look a little bit like the... what was that called? The enemy in Final Fantasy Type 0. The White Tiger zones. I don't remember the name of that faction, but the White Tiger group, where it was snowy and used technology to kind of keep themselves powerful without the use of magic. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, that's exactly what this empire is. Snowy zone, metal aesthetic, like lots of steel and technology in a land of magic users, dealing with hardships of the environment. Yeah, that's the same friggin' empire, isn't it? We've reached the Alamigan quarter. Let's check it around here. Graha. I must quiz Thancred and Urianger on the conditions we can expect in Garlemald. I know it's cold, but how cold? Will I need to keep my ears covered? They can be a bit sensitive at times. The internet is going to have a field day with this dialogue. Alphino. I'll admit this is all rather daunting, though not quite in the way I was expecting. We'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with our alliance's finest, the best of the best, the Warrior of Light and, well, me. It's silly, I know. Perhaps this is my way of distracting myself from the part I should be worried about, marching into Garlemald. You are so much changed, and all for the better, but you should have the hubris that young at least a little bit of the hubris and confidence that maybe not the hubris, but because that's always negative. You should have a little bit more of the confidence that the old Alphino used to have. You deserve it, in a way that he never deserved. Alize. You know, I'm quite looking forward to seeing who's been selected for the Ilsabard contingent. I have a few people in mind. Care to make a friendly wager? Let me just check the map real quick. Abolethia Spine, Dravania, Kurthus, Black Shroud, Ilsabard. Okay. Radzat-Han. So is Radzat-Han not part of Ilsabard? Like geographically? I guess not. I guess it's not. Okay. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Oh god, I didn't mean to do that. Well, I meant to talk to the others. My bad. Oh well. Rauban. Ah, the Wanderers return. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. No, I didn't mean to... Again, wrong button. My fingers are all over the place today. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what made this whole venture possible. Alphino. Will you and Lord Aymeric be leading the contingent? Aymeric. Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we've seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. That makes sense. You have big roles on your own. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsabard contingent. The very suggestion that we send some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid unto the Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. And your popularity in certain quarters is always questionable, even if you're always number one in my heart. Estinian. Can't please them all. There you go. Emeric. Sadly not, though I do my best. He does seem like a pleaser. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I've my battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. Raubon. I hate to say it, but Lord Emeric's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can... Yeah, even more for you, probably, because Emeric saying let's help the Garleans is one thing. Alamigo saying let's help the Garleans is a whole other beast. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilsabard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Alphino. Thank you, both of you. Question mark, question mark, question mark. We meet again. Gaius! Big Daddy G. Gaius and Maxima. Maxima? Maximilian? Something. I wouldn't even remember his name at all, but I've been watching some like various Let's Plays and streams of people going through like Stormblood and Heavensward content, and I remember, and Shadowbringers content, and I remember this guy being the main I think we first saw him as Asahi's second in command. Gaius, much has occurred since we parted ways in Werlet. For what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I've shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. Yeah, of course, you would be super in favor of anything that helps them. Estinian, so you're not coming with us. Strange. Thought you'd have a stake in this. Gaius, I do. The Telafroi have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But though every mode of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. You're probably right. Everyone who opposes this Ilsabard contingent learned that Gaius von Baelsar was like leading it or as part of it, I regardless of what he's done, like that would be the straw that broke the alliance's back. I stand accused of... Oh, not even for that reason. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilsabard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. I think what I said is right also, but I wasn't even thinking about how much it would hurt the Garleans being able to trust us. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. I have no idea what leadership in the wake of Endbring... So, I'm making one assumption about Endwalker. I'm assuming the Telafroi don't win and that the world doesn't end. That said, I don't know what a post-Endwalker Garlemald will look like. Is it just going to be a republic? I mean, the history in the past has been that the core NPCs from those zones, that were traditionally from those zones, Lyse and Raubon and Alamigo, Emeric in the Heavensward regions, in the Snowy City, whose name I don't remember right now, that all of these are that those people tend to take over. And so if I were putting money on it, I would bet that Gaius is the some Latin name for a republic leader, like president, presidentus. I haven't learned Latin in a while. I think he's going to be the presidentus of the Senate or something in a new democratic republic of Garlemald. But yeah, that's not in the near future. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. Again, that's a wise political take. What will you say? We will deliver your people from harm in your stead. I doubt they'll be pleased to see the champion of Eorzea set foot on Garlean soil. I understand Werlet is in your hands. Let's do I understand Werlet is in your hands. Yeah, you are helping in your own way. And not like you're beautiful in your own way when you're not beautiful. Like, I mean, like, you actually are. This is a role that you have a major stance in. Gaius, and I will defend it to my dying breath. After the sacrifices my sons and daughters made, I can do no less. Would this have been an option even if I hadn't done the Sorrow of Werlet storyline? I'll bet this was not an option in that case. I and the government of Werlet intend to offer refuge to those fleeing Garlemald. Should that time come, we will be ready. Maxima, in light of Gaius's rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Raban, well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? I also like Maxima's non-imperial look. Whatever that garb is with the cargo pants or that utility belt he's got on. Emeric, you might even bump into an old acquaintance or two, and if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you, all of you. Thank you. This was a great little Warm Wishes meeting. And just seeing all these characters in one place is just fantastic. Alize. I suppose it's easy for some people to forget there are civilians in Garlemald too, when the only Imperials they've ever known are soldiers. True enough. Alphino. With the knowledge that our allies will hold the line in our absence, we may devote our attention to the Ilsabardian front. Estinian. Like Gaius, I too stand accused of Varus's murder, though I am rather less recognizable on sight. Still, it's something to bear in mind once we reach Garlemald. That's, again, a very good point. Royal Menagerie Attendant. We've completed the restoration of the Royal Menagerie, and it's open to the public once more. Perhaps you'd like to see it for yourself? Yes. Actually, yeah, let me do that right now. I thought it was just going to be like, hello, I am a guard. How different... This is so cool. Was this always a thing that I could have visited after Stormblood? This is really neat. I was expecting animals, but then again, the Royal Menagerie was like a historical name. Like, it was the name given because... Was it the Mad King, his wife, liked keeping animals from conquered lands or something? Like, it wasn't exactly that, but it was something. It wasn't like the pleasant place. Anyway, that's really cool. I didn't think we'd get to see a refurbished version of this. Emeric. I neglected to mention earlier that we received a report from our troops that may be of interest to you. While engaged with a lunar primal, a great worm swooped down from the skies above and came to their aid. The worm, as described, was the spitting image of Tiamat. It would seem she too continues to wage war against the Telafroi. Go Tiamat! Get your revenge! Hell yes! Raubon. Once we've seen the contingent on its way, I will return to my duties here in Alamigo. Many of our most capable will be traveling with you to Garlemald. As many of our most capable will be traveling with you to Garlemald. We who remain will have to fight that much harder to make up the difference, but let no man say I do not welcome the challenge. Aye, this old bull isn't ready to hang up his horns yet. That's not what you do when you're done with horns. You don't... Okay. Gaius. Regardless of how my country... I don't have a difference between some of these deep-voiced characters. My voice isn't very deep anyway. Regardless of how my countrymen receive you, the cold will not treat you kindly. Underestimated at your peril. You know what? Having this little beard face mask, the Bugyo, the Tiger Bugyo, will actually probably be useful. Actually, it's cold metal against my face. It's probably not an actual fuzzy beard, so never mind. Resistance Guard. Okay. Maxima. Best of the best. Ooh. A question mark box at the end of this quest. Maxima would have you meet your new traveling companions. The other members of the Ilsabard Contingent are gathered in the royal palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you are ready. Will do. Hey, guess what? I'm ready. The remaining members of the Resistance Guard. The remaining members of the Scions. Your friends and most of the Ilsabard contingent await you within. Thank you, friend. Would you like me to see you through? I would.
By the 12.
Wait, so let me see if I can... Here's my guess. Here's my... Because he's shocked. So who is this? Who's going to be the shocked answer? I have two guesses. One, Fordola. Two, Beastmen. No, Beastmen is number one. I think actually Beastmen is more likely than Fordola. Or we can have a lot of people. Holy shit. The thaumaturges. The monks? Pugilists? Archers Guild?
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
This is like a best of the job quests.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose.
This is beautiful. This is all... I don't know if all of them will be here, but that was a lot of job quests I've recognized. A lot of job quest NPCs.
Not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabard Contingent.
My god, the push-ups.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
I wonder if Lucia will have her Garlean eye exposed instead of covered up.
Lucia.
No, she won't. But I'm still glad to have her.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has
Emmerich, not
honored me
Emeric.
with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end.
You are more than welcome because you're super awesome.
We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
I hope so. And I hope so we do so without many deaths.
The rest of our company. Everyone, if I may have your attention.
Hello. Oh my god, the Conjurer, that was the White Mage quest line. There's so many things I'm going to forget here, but at least I remember some of the generalities. As well as just troops from all the different nations.
Might I ask you to speak first?
I just saw the Conjurer hat over there.
If I must.
Arun Senna, yep, there he is from the White Mage stuff.
I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation. Here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer. We shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald.
That's what White Mages are good for.
To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
Yeah, you see, there's an archer there. There's the Lancer quest line guy. The Conjurer quest line with the yellow dress and the hat who grew up. Oh my god, this is wild. This is wild.
Of course, with an experienced white mage such as yourself accompanying us as well, those requiring more involved treatment will be in safe hands. Raya O sends her regards, by the way.
And they have dialogue specifically for when you've completed those job quests. This is so cool.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Are you from the rogue quests?
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten.
I think you're from that awesome rogue quest line.
Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hilfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. course, if I'd refused, I'd be
Wait,
the
no!
laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship.
This is the guy this is not from the Rogue Quest line, I don't think. I was mistaken. I was just assuming... No, this is the guy from that quest line where in like 5.5 or something, where Merlvib was fighting the treasonous pirates to turn... And this guy, I think this guy was the young guy, the young hotshot that she fought, the rebellious hotshot that she fought against, whose captain put him in line after he got his ass kicked in a duel by Merlvib. And now that whole thing ended with like, there's hope for this guy. He's fiery, but he's not bad. And now he's like on our team. Specifically, the whole like you've got to trust in the commander of your ship thing. This is such cool character development from side characters.
So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but a promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do.
Hell yes, this is the growth we wanted. Are you from the...
Since we all know how much the Empire loves
the Marauder
steel,
quests?
We thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy.
So they're from the blacksmith quest line.
Course,
okay.
Just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls. Believe you me.
I believe me you.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we.
All right, we got the Alamegan contingent.
The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest.
So I see one of the thaumaturges, I don't remember, Coco something. I see 3 thaumaturges, 1 on the left and 2 on the right. And then I see Pippin as I'm looking at them, on my left of Lyse. And I see on my right, her left, in the green band. I think that's one of the monk NPCs, isn't it? Or for the pugilist NPCs.
If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
We also got our little death mages here.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
It has.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the avatar of destruction.
Oh no, she's leveled up in trolling. Yeah, someone's gonna die for that.
With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
Amen.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilsabard Contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require.
I trust you. 100%.
The 4 high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission.
Oh, I hope we get, what's her name? Nine-Faced Susan, or the woman who has like 7 different personalities, or 9.
Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa.
Wait, is that the Rogue Quest guy? Oh, I just keep seeing the Rogue Quest guy everywhere, but I'm not sure why he'd be there.
There is another awaiting introduction.
Is it Nero? Oh no, it's this guy! Holy shit!
Lord Emmanellain!
Yeah. Coming here in honor of your brother?
Emmanellain de Forton, at your service. Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
Maybe you should stay behind here on guard duty. Like, make sure that Alamigo's palace is safe. Okay. May your graceful prancing lead the way to victory. I dare say your footwork may be all that stands between us and certain doom. This sounds a bit more negative, so I'm going to try to stay positive here, especially in front of everyone. I don't want to bully him or make him feel bad. He's trying. I think he's trying.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring do.
Okay. Yeah, I agree, Lucia.
That concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea. Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Uh-oh.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Please, please, pretty please, let it be Sadhu in charge of all of this.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
There is a god, and her name is Sadhu. And the Khan, Serena. I am so happy right now. This is my over-the-moon face.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
And we got the Bozja cat. I don't remember his name, but he's the cat from the Bozjan stuff, I think.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood we come, as a step is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
One of the best characters in this entire video game, not even joking, not being sarcastic or extra in any way. She's being extra, but that's part of what makes her great.
Sadhu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Yeah, but we'll have... That's not how you talk to her. You got to tell her who we'll be having war with, and then you'll get her on your side.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
By the way, I think I could definitely see a ship between Cyrena and Sadhu. Like, the calm one and the violent one, that sort of thing. Like, kind of an odd couple, where one bathes in the blood of her enemies and the other, like, knits.
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
Oh my god, they all have that awful Fran armor. I know it's iconic, I really hate it. I think it's ridiculous.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire.
I had been pronouncing it Bozja this whole time. Bosja.
I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald.
It's a fair concern from Alphino, and put very delicately.
And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
Some are victims.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused.
Okay, I'm glad that this is acknowledged as like a minority.
Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy.
Totally understandable, from all perspectives.
But
One of the things 14 does well.
Fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth.
Yep.
They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders.
I mean, and we're led by friggin' Lucia.
Gaius bloody Balesar himself is working to help rebuild Werlid, a nation he once conquered. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good.
Yes. That makes sense.
It won't be easy.
Yeah.
But we're all determined to make this world a better place.
The high heels and the chain bikini.
Were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlemald Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
Yeah, so we're going to get as close as we can by airplane, but then we're going to take it on foot. By airplane, by airship.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
This is quite a crowd. And again, it's not just the heroes. There's also like an assortment of unnamed yellow jackets and whatever the red coated people from the sea place are called. This is what happens when I try to not say that much. The red-coated people from the sea place. Ugh. You know what? Fine. We'll go with that. Jesus. I'm going to... Look at all these people. Alright. I'm going to talk to Sadhu and then I'm going to call it because I don't think... I was going to say I have to talk to everyone, and I do. But Sadhu is the most important. Because I missed her. I care not for the Iron Men or their troubles. It is the destiny of the weak to die in ignominy. Even so, I will do as I have agreed. I volunteered to join this band at Serena's request, and if she thinks it a worthy cause, that is reason enough. That's right, she's your con. Though we hail from different tribes, our bond has grown strong of late. Oh, is my ship real? She has much better company on hunt than any of the steps oafish men could dream to be. My ship is real. just very happy right now. Okay, that's going to be it for me for this session. That's all the time I have for right now. Thank you for watching. And next time we will talk to these people and continue with the main story. See you later. Bye-bye.